Move out of the way, nuclear power. There is only one power source that can rule them all. Yep.
I hate this channel.
No! But for real, why is Minecraft Redstone so unique? It is a pretty powerful energy source. I mean, it can make infinite power source, so yeah, it's pretty powerful. But I think its properties are what really make it interesting. But before I continue, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I want to try to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and if we do that, I got a little surprise for you. With that being said, let's get on with the video. So, redstone. You find it as an ore underground, and when you mine it, you get dust, and you can turn that dust into a torch or a block and get infinite power. But something that I always thought about is, why does redstone dust not give off power, but the things you make with it do? Now, besides a game design standpoint, I think I figured it out. Redstone only gives off power when compressed. Think about it. The only blocks that give off a source 100% of the time are redstone blocks and redstone torches. The redstone block is literally a compressed block of pure redstone, and the torch is some redstone just squished on top of a stick. And the same logic applies to other redstone components. Pressure plates, you stand on them to compress. Target blocks, you shoot them to compress. Even redstone ore, you stand on it or punch it, and it gives off a signal too. But what about just the dust? When you stand on it, nothing happens. My theory is that when you lay redstone dust on the ground, it is actually spread too thin for it to make a notable amount of power when compressed. For example, all other blocks that have redstone in its recipe, the redstone dust is compressed into a smaller area than when it would be laid on the floor. So I think the concentration of redstone dust has actually something to do with it. Also, quick side note, I like to believe that redstone dust is actually a sticky substance, because when it's laid on the floor it's super clumpy, and it can also go up the side of blocks. So just thinking about placing down redstone now is a lot more gross than it once was. Anyway, what about repeaters and comparators? They both use redstone torches to create them, but they do not give off their own power. It's hard to exactly say what is happening here, but I'll give it a try. With the repeater, I believe the redstone in the middle is powering both of the torches off. Because if you know redstone, it is possible to turn off torches, which in itself is interesting, but let's wait for that tangent. So the repeater is by default not producing a signal because it's being turned off by the redstone in the middle, but when an external current reaches the repeater, it turns on both of the torches, thus extending the signal. Comparators are really interesting. I could try my best to explain the mechanics of how logically a comparator would work, but that would take too long, and I also don't want to be wrong, so I'll just stick with the basic stuff. Comparators have an interesting property in where when it faces out from a chest or hopper, the amount of items in storage changes the signal strength, and when the storage container is full, it gives off the same amount of power as a torch or block would, which I think further proves my theory of compression. But besides that, there's another unique feature, and that is if the signal that is entering the side of the comparator is stronger than the input from behind, no signal will go through. Which kind of brings me back to my point of torches turning off. Torches turn off if they receive power from the block it is resting on, and there's two interesting things there. For one, it is a very interesting property that if power is directed directly into a block, that block will become a perfect conductor no matter the material. And two, it seems like if a power source encounters a current that is greater than the other power source, it kind of takes over that line of power. But if they are equal in power, they kind of share it. For example, if you place a lever, then some redstone dust, and then another lever, they will both turn on the redstone line, but they can't turn each other off. Like, it doesn't stop them from powering something else, even though the other power source is putting energy directly into it. I know that explanation is very confusing, but redstone itself is very confusing. So, let's recap. Redstone dust is a sticky substance that when compressed creates power, and redstone itself can turn itself off when directed into itself. and it's an infinite power source. So, what's the point of me making this? Honestly, it's just because I think it's cool to take a look at this from a quote-unquote lore perspective. Just taking a deeper look into the way the Minecraft universe works. Also, it's just me dipping my toes into seeing what kind of content I like to make. So if you did like it, leave a like and subscribe. Also leave a comment on something you'd like to see me make or do. People always say that the outro is the hardest part, and boy do I agree. So, that's the end of this video. Bye.